Hello everyone and welcome to All Aboard Big Boy, a Newswatch 16 special. I'm Scott Schaefer.
And I'm Stacy Lang. We are here at Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton to bring you a complete wrap-up of Big Boy 4014's visit to our area in celebration of America 250.
Many people from near and far chose their best vantage points to see history in the making, and Newswatch 16 was there for it all. Those waiting at crossings, in the woods, under viaducts, and at train yards met people from around the country and indeed around the world.
It's 3 weeks in 2026 that those who came will never forget. Our area is blessed with feats of engineering and places where the railroad can be seen, enjoyed, and appreciated. One of those places is the Nicholson Bridge in Wyoming County, one of the first places that Big Boy entered into our viewing area in its cross-country tour of America. On Saturday, June 13th, Big Boy did not disappoint. Valeria Quinones was there as the crowds gathered for all the excitement.
After months of anticipation, a rare piece of locomotive history, the Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014 slowly rolls, seemingly across the sky, as its massive frame travels across the Tunkhannock Creek Viaduct that runs through Nicholson. The sound of the engine echoing across the valley. Among the spectators, emotion ran high.
We've known about this for months, so it's a very exciting opportunity. This is once in a lifetime. America 250 is such a big deal.
This coast-to-coast tour of the world's largest operating steam locomotive wasn't just to celebrate railroad history, but America's upcoming 250th birthday. A nation built on rails, where connection and movement helped shape its success.
Obviously, we have a historic landmark in our own backyard that is so incredibly special. So to have this come through our town and our whole entire neighborhoods for this time it's a very big deal.
The moment became even more personal when the train came to a brief stop and the conductor stepped out to wave to the crowd below. The entire valley answering back.
Oh, it's just amazing, and the train is awesome, and then the guys are standing up on top and waving. That's pretty cool.
I felt amazed with all the people standing on the train and stuff.
It's an amazing bridge, a lot of history, and the train, a lot of history.
It's a very unique place. It's one of the more unique places in Pennsylvania, and to see one-off train is amazing.
The Big Boy then continued on its journey through NEPA, leaving behind a plume of steam and excitement, marking the celebration of America's past and future. Valeria Quinones, Newswatch 16, Wyoming County.
Thanks, Valeria. Well, as you can imagine, the fun did not end there. For the two-day weekend, rail fans were treated to multiple runs, joined by Reading and Northern's 2102 steam locomotive. It made for great photos and great memories.
It's one thing to see them trackside, it's one thing to ride behind them, but to have the machinery of all of that old school mechanical engineering running right next to your face and you get to appreciate all of it in motion right alongside, there's nothing better in the world than that.
The Big Boy sat right here, right next to its sister engine, the Big Boy 4012, that resides here at Steamtown.
So there's 7 that you can find in museums around the country. But Big Boy 4012, our Big Boy here at Steamtown, is the only one where the 4014 can sit on the track right beside it.
And so it began. History returns to the historic site where Big Boy had a 16-day stay here at Steamtown.
When we come right back, we'll take you to some of those highlights when crews were available to the public and people came from everywhere. It's next on All Aboard Big Boy, a Newswatch 16 special.
Welcome back to Steamtown National Historic Site. We're glad you're with us for All Aboard Big Boy, a Newswatch 16 special.
For the first 2 days of its stop here, visitors were treated to not only 2 of the largest steam locomotives sitting side by side, but also access to the crew.
That treat brought people from near and far. Nikki Kreis got the ball rolling.
The Big Boy has made it to Scranton. The world's largest steam locomotive arrived at the Steamtown National Historic Site on Sunday, and it will be here for more than 2 weeks. People started lining up to see it around 4 a.m.
Look at that thing. That's like American heavy metal right there. It's just an awesome piece of machinery. Nothing like it in the world.
I drove all the way down here just for this because I grew up around here, and seeing this thing come here, I couldn't miss it.
Union Pacific's Big Boy number 4014 was one of 25 Big Boys built. There are 8 remaining, including one here in Scranton, but 4014 is the only one that's up and running.
Steamtown National Historic Site is the only place that 2 big boys can sit next to each other on the rail. So having 4014 pull in right beside 4012 yesterday for the sibling reunion was just an amazing sight. Big
Boy's Coast to Coast tour is in celebration of America's 250th anniversary. There are plenty of chances to see the train starting today. Today and tomorrow are public display days.
The Union Pacific and the Norfolk Southern teams will be here on the ground talking to the visitors. Big Boy is going to be steamed up. You can come down and hear the whistle, which everybody loves to hear.
After that will be public viewing days. While the rail teams won't be around to answer questions, you'll still be able to see Big Boy.
Steamtown National Historic Site is usually about 60,000 people per year. We expect that we're going to do more than 60,000 people in the 17 days that Union Pacific's 4014 is visiting.
You need a ticket to come to these events. They are $1 each, which covers the processing fee. Nikki Kryes, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
The excitement was just beginning, and it lasted all day. The temperatures were warm, but the excitement folks had to see these machines up close was at a fever pitch. Here's Newswatch 16's Jack Culkin.
The Big Boy number 4014 got to Scranton Sunday night, and fans of the nearly 400-ton locomotive were not far behind.
Any 10 o'clock or 10:30?
Monday morning saw thousands get in line along Lackawanna Avenue as public tours of the train began. Officers with the Scranton Police Department guided vehicle traffic, and members of the National Park Service guided enthusiasts from across the country. Some fans crossing borders to see the historic piece of railroad history.
My son and I are big train geeks, okay? And this is a real slice, and it's historic because you've got the locomotive on the 250th anniversary. Can't ask for better. And in the hotels, kids are decked out, the parents are decked out, the grandparents are decked out, and it's just fantastic.
The Big Boy can teach us a lot about engineering and power and impress even the average person who is drawn in by the hullabaloo of the Big Boy visit. Here again is Newswatch 16's Jack Culkin.
Cars sit at a standstill as crowds of people come to downtown Scranton. National Park Rangers make promises visitors hope they can keep.
We're going to get everyone into the park. We're just a little bit backed up right now.
The Big Boy number 4014 got to Scranton Sunday night, and fans of the nearly 400-ton locomotive came with it. Monday morning saw thousands get in line stretching blocks along Lackawanna Avenue as public tours of the train began.
The enthusiasm with young people and older is amazing. I think technology has come a long way, and to see something from the past like this and so many people interested, I think it's great.
Officers with the Scranton Police Department guided vehicle traffic, and members of the National Park Service guided enthusiasts.
Any 10 o'clock or 10:30?
From across the country.
Usually it's in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and now it's coming to the East Coast where our family resides, so it's cool.
Killian Maloney and his family have been planning this trip for months, and the crowds were definitely a surprise for Mom.
I'm actually amazed that there are so many. I quite frankly, when he presented this to us, I was like, okay, sure. I thought it was going to be a little thing, but this is massive. Absolutely massive, yeah.
As the Maloneys crossed state lines, others, like Andy Hoffer, crossed country borders to see this historic piece of railroad history.
This is a very special one because it's operating, and to have it next to its kin is unreal. And the fact that for the 250th anniversary of the U.S. independence, they brought this here and went to all that trouble and expense, you have to be here if you have any train blood in you.
Like any major event that hits an area, big crowds mean big business. Newswatch 16's Emily Kress takes a look at that for us.
Thousands of train enthusiasts are flocking to Scranton to catch a glimpse of the Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 at the Steamtown National Historic Site. It's the world's largest operating steam locomotive. Brothers Richard and Kenny Ames made the drive from Boston to see the train up close.
It's just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The train hasn't been back to the East Coast since it was built, and just really a real chance we're going to get a chance to see it, running. So didn't want to miss it.
We're both enthusiasts for big machines, between this, battleships, other ships, I
can take you right over there.
With those crowds brings a boost in business to the area. Luke Menifee is the front office manager at the Hilton in Scranton. He says as soon as the announcement of the Big Boy's arrival was made public, the reservations started pouring in from around the world, selling out rooms in minutes. He says the average stay for visitors here to see the train is 2 nights.
Anything that comes to the city of Scranton is really big for all of us. Everybody benefits off of it. The restaurants, the local attractions, everything.
Restaurants are also seeing more customers thanks to the Big Boy. Voodoo Brewing on Washington Avenue is playing along with the excitement, going big with specials.
We're doing 3 pounds of mussels, so it comes in a big vessel, just everything big. And then we also have a Big Boy burger, so it's going to be a double smash burger.
While the train is the main attraction, visitors say they're checking out other attractions in the area. But for Robert Fry and Emma Dalenkova of England, the train was a surprise trip.
We just got here, we didn't even know today is the day that it's here. And I'm just excited to see how big it is and just everything about it.
I want to see one that works because back home, not a lot of them do anymore. So it's very impressive to see that some still work here.
Spectators will still get to see the Big Boy all week while crews do maintenance at Steamtown. Businesses in the area hope that rush of visitors keeps chugging along. Emily Kress, Newswatch 16, Lackawanna County.
That wrapped up our reporting for the first full day of Big Boy's visit to Steamtown.
On day 2, we dove a little deeper into what all of this is about. Our Jack Culkin became the go-to Big Boy reporter. He tracked down the conductor on the excursion.
A stop at Steamtown brings a minute of rest from the rails for Ed Dickens and the Union Pacific Steam Team as they tour the country in America's largest operating steam locomotive.
All the smiling faces. I've had several young kids hand us pictures that they've drawn and people sharing family memories. We've actually had some people with some heirloom photographs from their parents that worked at the American Locomotive Company back before World War II. So it's such a special opportunity for us.
As the senior manager for Heritage Operations, Dickens is leading the charge of an event that celebrates America's 250th anniversary and stretches over 7,000 miles.
This particular trip started in Cheyenne, Wyoming, went all the way out to Sacramento, and here we are, we're going to end up on July 4th in Philadelphia. So people get to see for themselves this big, massive machine, very special. With our own eyes, we've seen millions of people.
A fan favorite of the young and old, Dickens has used his position to enjoy speaking with and educating rail enthusiasts.
People come around these big industrial heavy-duty railroad sites, and we want them to remember, please don't stand on the track. We know that it's exciting, we know that you've heard all about it, and you want to see the Big Boy for yourself, but please tell everybody, stay off of the railroad track, stay back, you really get good footage there.
He's also taken in the beauty of our area, seen here waving to fans over the weekend from the top of the Tunkhannock Creek Viaduct.
It was I can't even describe it, but it was very high.
It was very high.
Lillian, her mother Sarah, and little brother
I come from Tennessee.
have been traveling with the Big Boy since it got to Pennsylvania. The moments made will be ones the family remembers forever.
Trains, the steam noise, and the lines, right?
Yeah.
And everybody being so kind, even with all the lines, and the park rangers being amazing and really helpful to everyone and kind, and they did an amazing job today, everybody.
It's that kind of reaction that Dickens and the staff at Steamtown strive to create.
It's that quick moment in time, lots of planning that goes into this. There's so many of us that are working hard to make this trip work. And that one quick moment when all that excitement and emotion hits you, it hits you in a pretty special way.
The Big Boy will be on display at Steamtown as it undergoes locomotive maintenance until June 30th. Jack Culkin, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
From the very beginning of the Big Boy legacy, the train has a cross-country story.
So what is the full tale of building big boys? Jack Culkin has that story as well.
It's day number 3, and crowds are still taking in Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014 and 4012 at Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton. Parked side by side, it's a reunion that hasn't been seen in decades. Park Superintendent Jeremy Comaz says these 2 locomotives were part of a fleet of trains that helped build the U.S. prior to and during World War II.
25 Big Boys were made in Schenectady, New York. They all ran out west. Of those 25, only 8 remain, and Big Boy 4014 is the only operational Big Boy.
But why are these big boys so big? Weighing roughly 1.2 million pounds loaded, Comaz says the locomotives were used to haul heavy loads.
The reason that they were designed this way and the reason they are so large was they needed the power to get over the Wasatch Mountains. What they were doing at the time is they'd have to use multiple locomotives to get over the mountains to move the freight. So they designed and built the Big Boy for that purpose, to be more efficient and more cost effective.
Like everything, advances in rail transportation made the big boys more of a burden on the rails.
So in the 50s and 60s, you saw a transition from from steam locomotives to diesel locomotives. So the diesels were a little bit more efficient, a little bit easier to operate. They could go longer distances.
Many of the trains were taken off the tracks. Some were scrapped, and others, like 4012, sat waiting for sites like Steamtown to open.
At some point, it made it to Nelson Blount's collection, so Steamtown, USA, and it was up in Bellows Falls, Vermont, where Steamtown, USA was at the time. It was then relocated here to Scranton under Steamtown, USA auspices, which then became the collection that was donated to the National Park Service.
While 4014 will leave the station come June 30th, Big Boy 4012 will be on display for the long haul, much like its journeys through the West back when it was first built. Jack Culkin, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
I have to admit the Big Boy draw was much more powerful than I could have imagined when we first started talking about the event. As it became more real, it ignited the interest and curiosity of so many people.
Storm Tracker 16's Jeremy Lewan hosted one of our weekly weather shows, Cloud to Ground, here at Steamtown National Historic Site around the trains.
Welcome back to Cloud to Ground. I'm Jeremy Lewan. Cold fronts arrive sometimes like a long train, pulling into the station, bringing in gusty winds, shaking trees, and rattling windows. Clouds in your pictures depict such volatility. Here they come in This Week in Weather.
And you did as well, Scott. You hosted some Newswatch 16 newscasts here. What was that like?
Well, the sheer size of the machinery is just something, it's breathtaking to behold. Here, let's take a look. Welcome back to our live coverage here on Newswatch 16 at 7 from Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton. We are inside the cab of the Big Boy 4012. This is the locomotive that is permanently stationed here at Steamtown that folks can visit anytime. But tell us a little bit about this impressive room that we are in. Megan Stevens from the National Park Service.
Yes, so the cab of the Big Boy, you would have obviously your train crew operating the train from here. It's quite roomy. We've got 3 of us in here, and there's still quite a bit of space. So it just demonstrates the massive size, I think, of this locomotive, that maybe you can see it while it's on the rails, and then being able to come inside and see it in person, it just kind of gives that whole new dimension to the size of this locomotive.
So what strikes me is that the engineer who sits right here has very little view out the front window at all.
Right. So if you ever see footage of the 4014 right now as it's operating across the coast and across the country, you'll often see their engineer at Dickens leaning out the window, and that is literally to look down the track to see where it is they're going. He stated it's often like one of his favorite things to do, a little bit when it's colder, just wakes them up, fresh air. So yes, it's a massive engine. It's hard to see right out front. There's no front window like we have in the cars, so you'll see them often leaning right out the side.
That's heartening to know that the 1.2 million pound vehicle here, the guy can't see out the front window.
Yeah, it's kind of unnerving, honestly. And so when we talk about visiting here at Steamtown, we operate locomotive, not quite as big as this one here, but we do have steam locomotive, diesel locomotive. It takes a long time for a train to stop, especially these large locomotives. So Union Pacific on their tour, they practice, stay 25 feet away from the rails, and they mean that for their safety, your safety, be safety conscious and don't get too close, because it is very hard to stop a train and to stop it quickly. It's not going to happen.
We have a minute left. I know it must be difficult. Can you begin to explain what all of these gizmos and knobs do in here?
Gizmos, gadgets, and knobs,
Yeah.
yes. There are a lot of red valves in here. We have, stokers. We have the whistle here behind me. So this was often blown at crossings and to alert that the train is coming. And I think that's one of the most iconic things that folks have been able to witness as the train moves through NEPA is you hear that whistle and it just echoes throughout the valley, and it's really impressive and honestly makes you want to cover your ears a little bit, just how deafening that can be. But yes, all of these have a purpose, and the engineers and the crew that would be operating the locomotive need to know what they do. They need to know how to operate that train and to operate it safely.
Megan Stevens from the National Park Service, we appreciate your time.
After those 2 days, 4014 remained here at Steamtown to get that regular maintenance check we talked about.
When we come right back, we'll check out its grand departure from Steamtown and from our area. Stay with us. All Aboard Big Boy returns right after this. Welcome back to All Aboard Big Boy, a Newswatch 16 special. I'm Scott Schaefer.
And I'm Stacy Lang. On July 1st, Big Boy left Steamtown and departed to Philadelphia for Independence Day, America 250.
With its boiler brought back up to temperature and the rested crews ready for the next leg of their trek across the nation, Big Boy 4014 said goodbye to Steamtown and northeastern PA.
The morning saw her steam up and depart the yard here at Steamtown. Our Jack Culkin once again takes us in on the action.
A few whistles helped warm up the Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014 as its crew prepared to leave Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton for the next leg of the steam locomotive's cross-country journey.
Wake-up time for me was 3:30 this morning.
A drive across state lines didn't stop Tom Wisman of Long Island and others from seeing the Big Boy off, something he thought he wouldn't see again in his lifetime.
It's like a dream come true. I can remember back in the day when they said back in old videos saying you'll never see a Big Boy run on the rails ever, and here it is now.
With a puff of steam, the Big Boy began to move backwards. After switching tracks, it was accompanied out of the rail yard by the park's Baldwin 26 engine, giving the Belay family an up-close look at locomotive history.
Really exciting.
Isn't it crazy how big it is?
Yeah. Well, how they made them old and like back in the day, since they didn't have all the technology, they made a couple by hand and stuff.
This is our closest destination from our house, so we set it up where make a stop here and we head down to South Jersey for the rest of the week for the 4th of July weekend in celebration of America's 250th anniversary.
With that, the two trains left the station, marking the end of a special stay at Steamtown.
This has been the most historic event ever for Steamtown National Historic Site, and I hope it's that way for all of Northeast Pennsylvania. So it's a little bittersweet because we loved having them here. We hope they come back sometime soon, and we also hope that all the visitors continue to come and see all that Steamtown has to offer.
And the start of another journey for the last operating Big Boy in the world. Jack Culkin, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
The train chasers again took the sides of rails, train crossings, and overpasses to see it again in its natural habitat. Big Boy even drew crowds when it stopped in Pittston to meet up with Reading and Northern's 2102 one last time.
Big Boy traveled south to its night stop in Jim Thorpe, where it arrived to the cheer of crowds who got an up-close and personal look at this giant breathing machine.
It's way bigger than on TV, and it's amazing that it was from World War II. And I also love that it's like very noisy. It's one of the biggest trains of USA, and it's a very important historic moment.
And then it was just one more day in our area. When Big Boy left Jim Thorpe, it headed towards Schuylkill County in the borough of Tamaqua. That's where Newswatch 16's Valeria Quiñones was waiting with many excited people.
Folks at the village at Hauser's Crossing got to be up close and personal with the Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 as it made its way through Tamaqua. Many here saying this is the best view they will get of the historic steam locomotive as it travels through eastern Pennsylvania, only a few days before America's 250th birthday.
For something so monumental like this, it's gonna make me cry. Happen is wonderful.
Owner of the village at Hauser's Crossing, Carolee Smith, says the story behind this historic village makes the day even more special. The train came right through this 10-acre property, which preserves a chapter of the state's industrial and railroad history.
We are one of the last known anthracite and railroad patch towns in existence, and we have been lovingly restoring it for the last 5 years.
Family and friends traveled from near and far to stay in the village and witness this historical moment in real time. Katrina Swartz made her way up from North Carolina to be here. As a cancer survivor, she says it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience she never thought she'd witness.
You know, 5 years ago I didn't know where I would be, but here I am today, seeing this beautiful train go by, to be able to witness this historic event, and I'm so excited. My husband is an avid train enthusiast.
My father grew up with Lionel trains and being a train enthusiast, and through him, I got the love of doing it. I'm taking all the memories back to share with him back in North Carolina.
For many train enthusiasts, this is a bucket list experience.
Taking it off my bucket list. I've been looking for this, and the interesting part is most of the people who are seeing the Big Boy on its trip will never see it again live. It's not coming back.
At least, maybe not for the next 250 years. Valeria Quiñones, Newswatch 16, Schuylkill County.
From the Nicholson Bridge to Steamtown to the villages near Tamaqua, Big Boy opened up imaginations, instilled awe, and amazed people of all ages from all over the country, even all over the world. For our special part of history, for America's 250th birthday celebration, it gave us an opportunity to witness that history right in our own backyard, an experience some could only dream of. We'll hear from John Meyer on the Pennsylvania Road in just a moment, but first, Scott and I chatted with the superintendent of Steamtown National Historic Site to get some final takeaways.
And we are here actually on the 4012 with Steamtown Superintendent Jeremy Comas. Now that the 4014 is gone, the whole experience is in the rearview mirror, what did it mean for the park?
This was just the most amazing historic event in the history of Steamtown National Historic Site. We saw 111,000 people come to Steamtown to see the Big Boy reunion, and it was just an amazing thing for the community and especially the National Park Service and our staff here at Steamtown.
Do you have a particular moment that stands out, a family story that really impacted you? It's just amazing how this train brought so many people together.
For me, one of the most memorable things was interacting with these young people and being able to go down to their level and answer their questions, kneel down next to them, next to these big wheels on these large locomotives that are so much larger than they are, and just talk to them about the history, not just of the Big Boy locomotive, but the history of railroading in America and what that did to really build and grow this country.
What is it about trains and railroading that is so important to folks?
I think when you look at railroading history, it's railroads that built America. So when we look back at our 250 years as a country, you get to look back and say, this is what made this country this great. One of the many things that added to our history and our heritage and our industrial might.
What's going to mean for Steamtown going forward now that you've had this experience? Is it going to have future implications and an impact here?
Well, we certainly hope it will. For Steamtown, we normally see about 60 to 61,000 people a year. So to see 111,000 people in 17 days is massive. What we plan to do is capitalize on that and continue this excitement around railroading and railroading history so that we can roll right into our RailFest event at the beginning of September over Labor Day weekend and hopefully get more people out to embrace our history, our heritage, and what railroading did and continues to do here in the United States.
Jeremy Comas, thank you very much. Congratulations on a great couple of weeks with Big Boy and everything that went with it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as promised, our Big Boy wrap-up with Newswatch 16's John Meyer.
It's hard to imagine a better welcome to northeastern Pennsylvania. Union Pacific's Big Boy 4014 engine crossing the Tunkhannock Viaduct in Nicholson 2 weeks ago. Skycam 16 capturing the historic train, stopping on top of the historic bridge as thousands watched in awe. But that was just the start of the crowds that would come to see this engine. Its next stop, Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton.
Any 10 o'clock or 10:30?
That's where 30,000 people showed up to see it on the first day alone, and they just kept coming.
Phenomenal. It's just beyond belief. The number of people that were here. We were here on the second day. It was just wow.
It has, of course, drawn die-hard rail enthusiasts, but not just train lovers.
I mean, I know just enough about trains to know how many wheels there are, and I know there's a lot of them, and it's still a really cool experience.
They came from all over to see one of the largest steam engines ever built, 1.3 million pounds, and see it parked next to one just like it, the out-of-service 4012 that always calls Steamtown home.
When I stand next to the two of these together, it is just awe-inspiring.
Jeremy Comez is superintendent at Steamtown, overseeing the logistics of welcoming 110,000 visitors, more than all of last year.
In 2025, we did 60,844. We did 65,000 in the first 6 days of the 4014 coming to Steamtown to sit next to the 4012.
Big Boy 4014 is the only operating engine of its kind, touring the country as part of America's 250th. Steamtown was its longest stop, and its draw here and all along the route seems to be about more than just railroading, also a celebration of what this country has built and achieved. I brought my son Jake along for a history lesson about trains and America.
I like to say that railroad built America. Right? And we get to celebrate that every day here at Steamtown National Historic Site, and this is just a great way to kick off that 250th anniversary of this amazing country.
I've been here for 14 of the 15 days it's been here. Yeah, I can't, I just get up in the morning and come, because what could be better than this?
Dominic Keating was part of the group that started Steamtown 40 years ago, loving to see the place shine, hoping for more.
It's just been a dream world of great things.
This has been an amazing opportunity for Steamtown to come back into the public consciousness and be able to share our mission of the preservation of railroading in America.
And do it in a big way. John Meyer, Newswatch 16 on the Pennsylvania Road in Scranton.
That's it from us as well. We hope you enjoyed our journey with Big Boy.
For all of us here at WNEP, we're glad you were with us for All Aboard Big Boy, a Newswatch 16 special.